I have never talked about Nick Fuentes on this show. He's a nut job. He's also a racist. But Nick Fuentes came after Jason Whitlock. For those who don't know, Jason Whitlock, I knew him as a sports commentator. Again, a lot of these people that you're seeing now that do political commentary, I watched them for years on ESPN. Like I watched them do sports commentary. Jason Whitlock, Stephen A. Smith, etc. You get the idea. So Jason Whitlock is a sports commentator who also does conservative political commentary, I believe for the Blaze or Blaze TV. Nick Fuentes and Jason Whitlock, from what I understand, both are conservative. So you may wonder, why is Nick Fuentes going after Jason Whitlock? Here's what Nick Fuentes said. Get your popcorn for this one. I'm not kidding. Like, this is an embarrassment if I haven't seen one.
And by the way, you are a token. Hey, Jason, you're a token. You are in.
Let's go back. I'm sorry. It's too much. It's too much.
And by the way, you are a token. Hey, Jason, you're a token. You are in conservative media as a black guy that can confer upon white people the dignity of not being called a racist for having their views. That.
I mean, I don't. Oh my God. Damn. So, well, let's go on a little bit more. Sorry. Jesus.
That's why you get paid. And that's why I don't, because I didn't have the privilege of being born black. I was born white. So there's a limit on what I can say. There's a limit on what I can say without being penalized in the so-called free marketplace of ideas. And everybody knows it. Everybody knows it.
Pause there for just a second. So you have this, you guys were, I guess at one point we're on the same team. Here you have a white conservative telling a black conservative, you're a token. I mean, the recent interview I had with Sir Michael Singleton, one of the questions I asked him was, how do you deal with this element in your party? How do you deal as a black conservative? How do you deal with this? And I think Sir Michael gave a response that what he would like to see change, right? He said that type of rhetoric has to go. We do have more people of color that are Republicans now, and people are going to have to be respected. I was like, okay, sure, Michael, okay. And I say this because this is not going to be the response that you hear from Jason Whitlock about this call out from Nick Fuentes. Let's continue.
Everybody knows, and everybody's sick of it, especially in the conservative space, that blacks have had it easy. It is, and I don't doubt that he's a sincere person. I'm sure he's a sincere person. I'm sure he's genuine. But you are playing by a different set of rules, pal. You have training wheels on. You think you've earned it? Everything you have. Take a look around at your studio, your contract, your employees. If you said the stuff that you said as a white person, your ass would be fucking gone. And
he's basically telling Jason Whitlock that he only has that gig because they needed a token. Like, what I tell you.
Everybody knows that. You're on Blaze hosting E. Michael Jones talking about the Jews. It's a good fucking thing you're black, because if you weren't, you would have been fired like Elijah Schaffer. You would have been fired like every other white person. Everybody knows that. take a good look at everything around you, because you did not compete to get that. You got it because people feel sorry. People don't want to be called racist. They feel sorry. They need a black person to give them credibility.
Damn. It's just, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing because it's like, I think we all kind of knew some of this a little bit. It's like, listen, man, are you there because you're a conservative voice? Are you there because they need a black conservative voice? You know, it's just little things like that. I mean, it's just, what's worse about this is when you hear Jason Whitlock's response, because the way that Jason responds to this is not the way that I think he should have responded to it, in my opinion.
And if you can't see that, then you're just as ignorant as BLM. If you can't see that, if you can't be honest with yourself about that, you're just as ignorant as the marchers. As a matter of fact, you are as ignorant as the marchers. Just another ignorant crybaby. And you know what? I have no hatred. I really don't. I'm a little bit frustrated with the fact that people are going to challenge my credibility based on what I say, knowing what I've sacrificed, what has happened to me, what has happened to my family. And I'm not trying to play the world's smallest violin, but my sacrifice has been considerable. I have had a considerably more difficult go than almost anybody, because I was willing to tell the truth before it's fashionable about Israel, about race, about globalization, about a wide variety of subjects. Ever since I was 18 years old, I have been censored. I have been financially blacklisted, had to endure financial hardship. I've been targeted. My family's been targeted. So for somebody to come and challenge my credibility or whether I'm being honest, it's totally outrageous. I have no hatred in my heart for people. I have no hatred in my heart for anybody, for that matter, and not for a group based on their race. And I have friends from all different races. It's not hatred. You know, we can't play that card all the time and bitch about racism every single time. With that being said, and it's important.
Although you are a racist. Like, that's the part that kills me, is like, although you are a racist and you talk about race a lot, but you say you can't talk about it all the time.
Important to clarify that, because you don't want to be typecast as the angry white man that's trying to gin up. I'm not trying to gin up racial resentment. I'm really not. I'm trying to tell you how white people feel. And I'm trying to tell you the truth. And here's the truth of the matter. White people are just fucking done. We're done with the excuses. We're done with the white guilt. We are done with crybaby, ethnic narcissist black people that cannot handle an adult conversation about race. We're done.
Does Nick Fuentes speak for all white people? Does he speak for all of you guys? All of you watching? Does he speak for you? Because he sounds like he is.
We pay up the ass in property taxes not to live near these people. We work hard. We pay our taxes. We go to work.
So do you see the narrative that he's pushing here, as if black people don't work hard, black people don't pay their taxes, black people don't go? Let me tell you something. Don't pay your taxes if you don't want to. Uncle Sam will come find your ass. Next thing you'll know, you'll be a story on the late night news. The IRS will find you. I said the same thing to people before about student loans. Don't pay those student loans if you don't want to. They're going to try to find a way to get their money. But you see the narrative that he's pushing? He's like, we pay a lot of money not to be near those people. But he just said, don't talk about race all the time.
We work our fingers to the bone to create a good quality of life for ourselves and for our families. And it has been ceaselessly sabotaged for decades by these fucking animals. And by that, I don't mean every black person. I mean these predators. I mean these opportunists. I mean these adolescents. Where are the parents? Where's the community now? Where are
You hear all this? You see the narrative that he's trying to, we have no community. There's no parents around. None of this stuff. I know. Just let it all. What FM said. Tell me more. I know, right? He's being very open, letting you know exactly how he feels, exactly what he thinks about us.
are they? I'm talking about these young adolescent men, black men, that film themselves running over a physics professor on his bike in New Mexico, laughing and kill him. I'm talking about the young black men that break into 20 businesses in Downers Grove overnight and loot the cash registers. I'm talking.
What about the young white men that commit mass shootings? You see what he's doing?
Talking about the teen takeovers, the gangbangers. We don't want to live near this stuff anymore. And we all know what's going on. We all know who's doing it. We all know what it is. And we're sick and tired of black people not being able to be honest about it, not being able to take any responsibility. It's always someone else's fault. It's always some white person's fault. It's racism, it's poverty, it's the culture, it's the New Deal, the Great Society, it's Lyndon Johnson, it's the Democrats. You know what? No, I think it's you. I think it's just you.
So that is Nick Fuentes' response to Jason Whitlock. Now, here comes the mask off moment. And for just to add something in here, his statement about we don't want to live around this stuff anymore. America is still very segregated today. Just FYI, especially here in the Northeast, America is still very much segregated. So I don't know why he's trying to make it seem like a lot of white people are living next to black people. The way that Jason Whitlock chose to respond to this is probably going to be one of the biggest disappointments that you see. Listen to this.
Just another in a long list of excuses. Leftists blame it on racism and poverty. Conservatives blame it on culture and godlessness. Blacks create the same culture from LA to Baltimore, from Haiti to London, from Sudan to South Africa, from prehistory to now. It's race.
So pause there for a second. That's a statement he's reading from Nick Fuentes. First of all, we don't have the same culture in Haiti that we do in LA. We don't have the same culture in Baltimore that we do in London. We actually don't have the same culture.
So that's the two tweets he put out that upset me. And so I issued a response because he's clearly talking about me. Didn't call me out by name, but he's talking about me because I've been leading a conversation now for 4.5, 5 years about this demonic, toxic culture that too many black people have bought into, the culture of racial idolatry, the culture of entitlement, the culture of victimhood, no, I'm about to read it. Oh, yep. I'm sorry. The culture of victimhood, the culture of hip hop and hedonism. And if you get disrespected, you must respond in a very disrespectful fashion. And you must be willing to turn violent and really angry if you feel any sort of level of disrespect. This has been my topic forever.
Do you see what Jason Whitlock just did? He basically just confirmed what Nick Fuentes said. This guy called you a token, who basically told you you wouldn't even have that position that you have right now if you weren't black. Okay. This guy called you a token. And your response is, well, I've always talked about these issues with Black culture, just skip over the whole part about him calling you a token. Let's go on a little bit more.
And Nick Fuentes decides, hey, I'm going to attack Jason Whitlock's argument. I'm not going to call him out by name, but I'm going to attack him in his argument because, and the only reason to do this is because clearly his group, his following or whatever, what I'm saying must resonate with them in some way. And so he must defeat that argument. And so I tweeted back, you're every bit as godless and stupid as your critics say. You're Ray Epps 2.0, pointing foolish believers into a building that will burn them down for eternity. Many of the people captured by the wickedness of Black culture can claim ignorance. You know exactly what you're doing, demon.
So let me show you a little trick. What Jason Whitlock is trying to do is now he's trying to pursue the religious aspect of this. Oh, let me just show how he's a demon, right? So that he doesn't have to focus on what Nick Fuentes said about him. He doesn't have to focus on the fact that Nick Fuentes sees you as a token. He doesn't have to do that. And he doesn't want to do that because if he does do that, his whole shtick is up. Because his whole role in conservative media is to basically point fingers at the Black community. He's supposed to be that Black conservative voice that points fingers and it's your fault, it's your fault, it's your fault. It's nobody else's fault but yours. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps and just wait on Jesus. I don't understand how you can just sit there after he called you a token and not push back on that.
The enemy is paying people on social media to promote racial division and conflict. The aftermath of Austin Metcalf, Carmelo Anthony is a psyop. Don't fall for it. Stand on the word. Rebuke any so-called believer not pointing to Christ.
So let's make this a religion thing. See, let's go back to, you see what I mean? So that he doesn't have to address what he said.
That was my response. And so I want to, and this is going to take a second, and many of you are going to struggle to follow me as I go here, but trust me, I'm telling you the truth about how you should all feel. That's if you're a believer. If you're a secular person, this show's really not for you. This is for people claiming Christ as King, Christ as Lord and Savior.
What does that have to do with him calling you a token?
So I don't care what Nick Fuentes has to say about me. He can call me every name in the book. I don't care what anybody says about me. This isn't me talking tough. This isn't me saying I have the thickest skin in the world. This is me submitting to my irrelevance, my lack of importance. This is me acknowledging exactly who I am. I'm unimportant.
FM said if you didn't care, you wouldn't make this segment.
What people think about me is unimportant. And so when you hear me say, and I say it pretty consistently, I don't care if people are racist. I truly do not. People can say whatever they want about Black people. I don't care.
He doesn't care if people, Jason Whitlock doesn't care if people are racist, but he cares if you're not pulling yourself up by the bootstraps in the Black community. And Jason Whitlock wants you to believe that some of these institutions that we have in this country, that race isn't a factor. Because if Jason Whitlock were to acknowledge that, that's his whole shtick right there. There goes the show. Okay? There goes the show. You let this man disrespect you to your face. You let him call you a token to your face. And you're just like, I don't care.
They're not important. What triggers me is when people lie on Jesus. And then what really triggers me is when people lie on Jesus and use something I said to tell that lie.
That's what triggers them, folks. Triggered. And by the way, before anybody come for me, I grew up in the church, okay? This is a mask off moment here for Jason Whitlock. You can't even stand up for yourself, man. You could at least have the audacity to say, Nick Fuentes, don't address me that way, man. Nick Fuentes, don't talk to me like that, man. Nick Fuentes, show some damn respect. Don't talk about my people that way, man. And then there's a code thing, right? It's like there's things that you can say about your crazy uncle. There's things that you can say about your brother, that you can say about your mom or your dad, but nobody else outside of your family better make those comments. Jason Whitlock basically co-signed what Nick Fuentes said in that video. And by him doing so, it allows Nick Fuentes to be off code. It's things like this, like, what the hell? We'll go on a little bit more here.
That is what triggers me. And so Nick Fuentes and I don't know if we'll play this all, because I'm going to play several of his clips because I want to be fair to what he argued on his show. I put out that tweet. And he put out a 4.5, 5 hour show, and about 45 minutes of it was spent attacking me.
And we're going to go ahead and jump to that part as well. So listen to his response after the video again.
I played that clip just because I don't even know how to respond to that. You guys have watched the show. You know this content, you know my reputation, you know what I get criticized for. All of that name calling and all that profanity, none of it was based in any truth. And that's my primary problem. That somehow I am some sort of bleeding heart liberal, that somebody, man, if you do wrong, and you're black, let me run cover for you. That's me? I mean, really? That's what I've been doing here. Hit me up over.
No, that's not what you have been doing, Jason. But the reason why Nick Fuentes feels he can say what he said is because you basically co-signed what he said. That's why. This is what all the tap dancing, right? All the tap dancing activity, tap, tip, 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 boop. And what does it get you in the end? You look foolish. You really do. Because he's basically telling you that you didn't have the talent to have that job in the first place, and it was only given to you because they wanted a token. That's what he's telling you. Now, you guys can figure out about the talent situation yourself. I don't know. I think Jason Whitlock is better at sports commentary, but that's just my take.
For email, fearlessblazeshow@gmail.com. If that's me, I'll come on here and repent. And maybe I've been living in a fantasy world, but that just ain't me. And so it just, this is where I'm saying, like, the dishonesty, the profanity, the name calling, the emotion, the divorce from reality, because that's all I can think this is, because He is accurate. I don't watch his show. This is the most of his content that I've ever watched. I watched 45 minutes straight of him ranting and raving, and he's accurate on that. But he has acknowledged he watches my show. He engages with my content. If there's a bunch of videos out there of me saying, hey, you got to look the other way. Carmelo Anthony, I mean, he's a great kid, and, he shouldn't face first-degree murder charges, maybe a simple assault. If that's what I've been doing, let me know. I don't think that it is, but maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Hit me up over email again, fearlessblazeshow@gmail.com, if that's what I've been doing. Hit me over Twitter @WhitlockJason, if that's what I've been doing.
I felt like Jason Whitlock was way too kind towards Nick Fuentes. And he doesn't even have to raise his voice, but hit me up, email me if that's what I've been doing. What do you mean, if that's what you've been doing? What are you talking about? And the fact that you even want to give him the time of day to contact you. This is why I point to people like Jason Whitlock, and I'm like, yeah, you kind of full of it, because you don't really want to talk to the radical left, as you call it, but you're willing to listen to Nick Fuentes' racist ass who just called you a token. Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.